If you haven't figured it out, I like making these videos for stuff that I cannot find any videos on YouTube. YouTube's always like the first place that I go, probably followed by Reddit for like some like camera buying or camera items advice. So I talked about my Clever Supply strap. I've talked about the Fuji flash, and now I am going to talk about this wide angle converter. I'd say there's more videos on this than I've seen for some of the other items that I've talked about, but here it is. This is the wide angle converter with a special cap that I bought off Amazon, and you know, it's expensive for what it is. I mean, it's all glass, that's for sure. I mean, if you look at it here, I'll take this cap off. It's made of aluminum. It's really high quality. But yeah, I mean, this is just like a giant piece of glass and metal. So it is really like a secondary lens. And some people are like, well, why would you buy one of those? Like, the benefit of the Fuji is having, you know, a fixed camera. And speaking from that experience, my first X100 I know I've been lucky, I've had two, but my first one, the EVF OVF curtain kept getting stuck. And at the end of the day, this is not just a toy, it is a camera, and I wasn't gonna live with something that was broken. So I sent it back in. I bought it from B&H, and luckily, not luckily, but thankfully I bought it used, so I got for less than MSRP versus at the time they were going way over MSRP. And anyway, I sent it back to B&H. I said, please fix it. And they said, yeah, no. And I said, well, can I get back in line? And they said, yeah, no. And somehow I ended up getting another camera from my local camera store. But in the meantime, before that had happened, I picked up the XT50. So the new one they had come out with that was even smaller than the 6. And I couldn't help myself, and I bought like the 1.4 lenses, and they were just way too big for the body. And I ended up buying like a 33 and an 18, and maybe even like, oh yeah, a zoom, I think it was. And I ended up spending so much money on that system that I luckily was able to take it back when I picked up the 6, but I didn't want it to replace my full-time setup, which is a Sony X100 or a Sony A7R5. So that being said, it is cumbersome to carry multiple lenses, but this, yeah, is worth it. It's so small. It's lighter than any of the lenses that were on the Fuji bodies, you know, even compared to my Sony kit. I mean, there's nothing in the Sony system outside of maybe the f2.5 G lenses, the prime ones, that, I mean, this is still even smaller than those. Yet it allows me to just get that wider angle. And there are times at the airport when I'm with my toddler and my family that, guess what, I can't back up because I'm in an airplane seat, or I have to stay really close to her because we're on the people mover going through the airport. And so being able to have the wide angle as well as like the digital zoom has been a really nice thing to have. So here's the camera and the profile. And I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, this is not a pocketable camera. Like, I don't know how big your pants are, but none of my jackets, none of my pants are gonna fit this as a pocketable camera. So you kind of saw that profile. That was with the Nisi adapter, which again, like, I want something for UV protection. I'm a UV user. And here's again the profile. And now we take the wide angle conversion lens, and yeah, I mean, it extends, but it's really, I mean, it's really not that bad. And at the end of the day, I'm still putting it in a bag. And whether it's, you know, this in a bag in my Bellroy sling, which I have right here, it's still gonna fit in there, no problem. And this is the 6 liter, no problem in the 10 liter. So, you know, here, I'll just open it up and show you guys that it's not a problem. So take out some sunglasses. I just packed this down in my travel bag, and ta-da, like a ton of space in my sling bag. So whether you've got a slightly bigger profile, it's gonna fit the same. I'm gonna pack things around it. It's gonna go in the sling. I'm gonna wear it on my shoulder. Not a big deal. And again, I am traveling, and I brought it with. It's not much bigger than the flash unit that I previously reviewed. So I mean, like the two of them together is just, I don't know, it's not a big deal. Like you can bring accessories. My mouse that I brought for this meeting is bigger than this adapter. But again, it gives me the opportunity to get just that little bit wider, which if you've looked at YouTube videos and images online, like having a wider lens, even though it's like a 35 to a 28, it's still a substantially wider field of view. And then I still get the digital zoom. So you end up with a 28, a 35, and then if you want to crop in, a 50. So, and another pro is that it's still the 49 millimeter filter thread. So the polarizing filter that I have, the Polar Pro everyday filter that they just came out with, the green one, it still will fit onto the adapter. So I know on the telephoto one, it's a different size, and nothing that I have would be that size. So almost that's like a non-starter because it'd be such a pain in the butt to switch it. And I should also mention that this profile is also with a Tiffin Glimmer glass. So if you take that off, here it is, like it's even smaller. So I bought this used. I'm a big fan of buying, not cameras, especially now with the one that I had to return to B&H on the X100 but I'm a big fan of buying used lenses, especially when you're buying them in like mint quality, because there's really not a lot, knock on wood, that can go wrong. Unless like, again, someone dropped it and I feel like, you know, I'm buying typically from reputable places. I have bought on eBay, but again, like I'm looking at the lens mount. I'm asking if it's been dropped. I'm asking if there's any dust. I'm trying to make sure I get additional images. So just being like really safe buying. But yeah, I love buying open box. I love buying used, and this one I happened to pick up at my local camera shop as well for some $300. So if you're thinking about getting it, I'd say I would go ahead and pick it up, especially if you're like, hey, do I get the wide angle converter or do I pick up the flash? Well, definitely don't get the flash, get the wide angle converter. Again, it just adds more versatility. It's hefty, it's high quality, not that heft has to be high quality, but it's high quality. And again, like no big deal throwing this into like a travel bag when you fly. It's not that big. So yeah, I like having the extra versatility. And again, it's not like it's a whole camera system. Like when I picked up that XT50, right, like the lenses were substantially bigger than this. Not only that, they were more money. And again, it replaced my bigger system, which I didn't want it to do. So I was able to still pay less than if I would have had like a brand new kit, while still giving me extra versatility for a camera that's already really great in just a 35 millimeter format. But again, sometimes you want it, and then when you want it, you really want it. So I ended up picking up this Hogue back cap. I wish they would have one in black, but it's nice that it just filters or threads onto the back. It had originally come with a plastic one from Fuji, and there was dust all on the inside of it. So that's one thing that wasn't the best. It's like, come on, just make it metal. The whole thing else is metal. Why are you giving me like this cap that basically falls off the back of it and just collects dust? And then it comes with this little bag. So again, I just put it in the bag, cinch it right up, and I put it in like one of my pockets sometimes, like or in the cubes, the camera cubes, and I can put this and I can put this into one cube and just make it really small. And again, no problem. And I can still bring whatever else I'm bringing, whether that's my Sony kit or my Sony kit plus the Fuji. Yeah, just again, it's so small that if you can find it used and you're debating it, I'd say go ahead and pick it up, because when you want, again, the wide view, you want the wide view. And a lot of times when you want that wide view, you can't back up, or again, you're with your family, you can't leave your toddler, you can't get that extra space because, hey, they're a toddler, they're going to run off, and they're probably going to bump into somebody. So anyway, thank you for watching my long-winded chat about the wide angle conversion lens. So thanks. See ya.